Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of the Touchline Fracas podcast. This week's episode will be slightly different, hence the reason we are recording a day late. Last night was the FA Youth Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. Me and a few guests attended the game and will be giving you our analysis of the game, as well as the state of English football and the hottest prospects around world football. So without further ado, let's introduce tonight's guests. First up we have the United supporter Ayo.
Yo.
How do you know?
Not too bad.
We have Arsenal fan Leroy.
Hi guys, how you doing?
We have Chelsea fan Daniel.
Hey, what's up?
And we have another Arsenal fan, Sait. How you doing, mate?
Allahu Akbar!
Let's move on from that. So what we'll do is we'll start with last night's game. Ayo, you attended it with me. Ellis and Mickey couldn't make the pod tonight, so we'll start with you. What did you make of the game in itself?
The game, Chelsea looked really good. I was really impressed with the youngsters. Like they played, both teams tried to play good football. We didn't see a lot of long ball. It was always playing out from the back. So it was a good game. There was a lot of talented players, especially on the Chelsea side. I was really impressed, especially Loftus-Cheek. He looked an absolute monster. So yeah, it was a good game. I was quite impressed. At the levels, especially compared to United. You set up in a moment. The levels was quite impressive.
Okay. Sait, you watched it as well. You didn't go to the game, but you watched it via illegal methods, I assume.
It's a stream.
Yeah. Oh, a stream. Is that what we call it these days?
Right, it's perfectly legal.
Okay. What did you think of the game?
Pretty much the same as Ayo. Good game. Both teams tried to play well. Obviously, I had my eyes more focused on the Arsenal youth, but it was hard because Loftus-Cheek was really like a standout performer. So yeah, it was a pretty good game. But yeah, I just keep thinking about him. No homo.
Leroy, what about you? Did you manage to catch the game?
Yeah, I did, and I pretty much echo the thoughts of the other two. It was a good game. I think youth standard looks pretty good. On the Arsenal side, we had some few outstanding performers, like our defender at the back. I can't even pronounce his name, but I'm just
Plegozello.
He signed a professional contract today.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, Pleggy. I'll call him Pleggy for short. We also had Akpom, who scored a banger. But Loftus-Cheek was leagues above everyone else in that game, like leagues and levels above everyone else. So it was a good game, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anyone wants to go to the second leg, it is at the Emirates Stadium. I think it's next week. I think tickets are only a £5, so it's well worth going along. It's on a Thursday, is it? So I don't know. We'll probably try and get down there as well and see the game. What we'll do is we'll just talk about like individual youth setups at the moment. So I know Daniel didn't get to see the game. So what we'll do is we'll start with him. We'll get his opinion on just like the Chelsea youth setup in general. So just tell us about what's going well at Chelsea. How comes you managed to dominate Arsenal and just look a class above?
Okay, well, I think with the Chelsea situation, when a little backstory with it, when Abramovich came in, one of the first thing he did was like get his advisors, and one of them is a guy called Piet de Visser, and he's Dutch, and obviously Dutch, they love their youth football, and so one thing that's been clear about Roman Abramovich is that he loved youth football and he's wanted to bring youth talent through. So it was a project for him to create almost like a La Masia version at Chelsea. So he pumped money in. Obviously, you've heard about the Kakutas and buying foreign talent. But what they really wanted to do was actually focus on, after the Kakutas didn't work, rumours, there was a shift in focus and they wanted more English players to come through. And obviously with Chelsea, ever since Abramovich has come in, I've just noticed they've been headhunting the right coaches. They've changed their way. They've had this kind of 4-3-3. They've really basically gone to that La Masia model. Let's make Cobham the English version of that. And so what I've been seeing in Chelsea for the last 3 or 4, 5 years is just the way we're playing. Every single team we're playing, we're passing it out from the backs. Players are taking risks. We're playing the right way. The right English. After a while, you just started seeing these English lads that have been here from 8 and they're playing amazing football. So it's very, and this current generation that you went to go and see yesterday, they've been very hopeful about them for a while now. But Chelsea, just independent people as well. There are independent people that go around and survey each academies because of the under-21 league that they have. The way they organise it, they have people saying who's the best academies, and that comes down to the coaches, that comes down to the players, and etc. etc. And they've rated Chelsea as the best academy in terms of most things. So Chelsea right now is good, but at the same time it's bad because we all know that they're not going to get a chance. So it's really good, but again. They should leave. I think they should leave when they're 18.
Yeah, I mean, we'll touch on that a bit later in the pod to really talk about how these kids can get a chance and maybe as to the reasons why they aren't get a chance, which may seem obvious at first thought, but I'm sure there is a little bit more to it than meets the eye. United weren't involved yesterday. I mean, Io did say that Chelsea's academy is better than United's at the moment. Any reason as to why, Io?
Oh, sorry, sorry, lads. I was speaking. Yeah, because you could see why Chelsea's academy is better than United in terms of just the way they've taken an influx of foreign talent and just the dedication they have. Like, I remember having a conversation with a few of the lads yesterday that nearly all of us have known most of the players who've been at pro clubs have all been at Chelsea. And obviously there's a lot of clubs in London. So obviously that's signaling that Chelsea are sharp to spot young talent. At United always bring through young talent, but at the moment our youth team is nowhere near as good as this current Chelsea squad. Like, we've got a few players like Pereira, Wilson, Michael Keane, who's at Blackburn. But I was a bit disappointed we sold Lionel Cole to Fulham. Obviously at the time Rennie he knew a lot about Lionel Cole and Tunnicliffe. I wasn't really much of a fan of Tunnicliffe, but I really liked Lionel Cole. So I think same kind of problem with Chelsea. A lot of players may now feel they may not get the chance at United,
so
which is a bit bad. But I don't know. I like to see United have more of a focus on youth players. Like I think I was tweeting it quite a couple of days ago. I want us to focus on youth players. Like whereas we're getting a lot of the old guys moving on. If we're going to have a backup, I want our backup to be a young player. Like same way we had Gary Neville, his backup was Raphael. And look how much Raphael has learned from Gary Neville. He's improved so much. When Raphael and Fabio, they both came through at the same time. Fabio was originally better in the reserve team. But Raphael, just being the underside to Gary Neville, he got the grit, the hard working nature, and add that to his ability to go forward. So I think it's very, very important for teams to bring in their young players with the older lads. I don't really see that much with Man United at the moment in time.
Right. Okay. We'll go to Sait. I know Sait has watched a lot of Arsenal's youth team this season, so he's probably more in a position to talk about it. But Sait, what's going right and what's going wrong at Arsenal's academy at the moment?
Well, I wasn't really impressed with in the last few years of our youth, like the quality. But it seems like things are changing because we obviously hired Jonker.
Yeah.
Recently to like there's a change in the Arsenal youth setup now to replace Liam Brady.
Yeah.
But I think what happened, I think he got overlooked. I don't think he decided to leave. I think the club decided to move on. If I remember.
I don't know for sure.
I think that's what's happened. I think
he announced he was going to retire.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a mutual thing, but yeah. But anyway, I thought it looks like the club's moving in a new direction with our youth setup. But it just seems to me we've just got a lot of a sprinkle of individuals with like mediocre talent.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just me. Where you kind of sit with your friends and kind of be like, so who do you think's gonna make it? And it's like we can only come up with like 4 or 5 people we actually think's gonna make it. Obviously, we're not the ultimate judges of it, but kind of building on what Ayo said as well. I would love to get to a stage where the players on our bench are youth. That would be like a dream for me. That would be wicked.
Yeah. What about you, Leroy? Have you watched much of Arsenal youth this year?
Yeah, I've watched bits and bobs this year. Not too much, but I would like to echo what Sait said. But there's been sort of murmurings about the Arsenal academy and sort of the talent level having dropped significantly from the previous years. So, like, coaches have gone to our ground and said they're not the same level that they have been before. There is a few players. There's a few players that are just probably going to make it and come through. But overall, I'm not impressed with the talent that we have at youth level. But I do think we sort of are identifying young talents from other clubs, and we're just trying to make sure we bring them all into our club, really. Identify the best. Like, we bought Crowley from Aston Villa. We're looking at Patrick Roberts from Fulham. And I just think that's what we're going to try and do now, and just bring in a few talent outside and bring them to our club from an early age.
Yeah.
I would really love for us as a club to kind of go in like a English core direction. Because I know we've like some of our best players currently are from Barcelona, no? Like the youth, like we've taken them from Toro
and Pleguezuelo,
Pleggy. So, but I'm hoping, I like the idea of like a English core, kind of get them from young, integrate them in a system, and hopefully kind of go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say, in regards to Arsenal, you've got right now the standout probably guys right now you would say are Bellerin, Gnabry, Toral, Akpom. What I was going to say about Akpom is he seems to be the only one that has actually come through the system at Arsenal.
Yeah. Even Olsen, you can say Hayden as well.
Hayden come through at Arsenal, but I don't really see him as like an elite youngster. I see him as, someone who's going to move on quite soon. That might be a bit unfair of me to say, but I feel like Wenger probably has more faith in someone like Olsen, which Olsen was signed as well from, I can't remember from who, but from some Swedish club, I think. So what I was going to say is why are clubs not picking up these youngsters from young? Like so in terms of the British kids, people like Crowley, people like Patrick Roberts, why are they not being picked up from young? Why do Arsenal seem to go through the motions when they're quite young? I mean, in recent years, only Jack Wilshere, and I can't remember what age Kieran Gibbs came to the club, but I think he was pretty late coming in as well. So why is that? Why are Arsenal not producing these English kids at the time?
It's all to do with the coaching. Well, sorry. Yeah, I think from how many youth talents you produce is basically, I think, is a direct representation on how good the coaches are at the club, in my opinion, at the youth system, youth level. So I think if we're not producing that many talents, then it's got to be the coaches have got to be looked at, and it's got.
And it's. No, sorry, I was just going to say it's also the importance that you put on youth, because clearly, like, you've got clubs like Southampton, it's heavily part of their club ethos. So obviously that plays a part. I don't think every club values youth the same.
I think obviously other clubs, whereas they have more money, the risk of relying on youth is too much for them, so they'll rather go out and buy a finished article, and not just that, in terms of even investing in youth. Obviously, we've seen the benefits. Like, Chelsea got a lot of money, so they can afford to invest in youth. Yeah. I mean, so I think because if you look at foreign clubs, a lot of foreign clubs, in terms of bringing players from their actually own countries through, I think we have one of the lowest percentage of domestic players in the league.
Yeah, but we're talking about in the academies. When you're talking about academies, most of them are filled with English players. Don't get it twisted. I hear a lot about foreign.
But and how many of them just disappear?
No, but okay. My thing is with Arsenal. You're talking about why don't you get these 8 that come up and all that type of stuff. Don't forget, you're in London. Do you know how many clubs there are in London? It's not difficult because there were rules before about they have to be from a certain catchment area. It's not easy. You can't just go out and headhunt like 8-year-olds and tell them to travel all the way across London to come and play for your clubs. So it's difficult. Second of all, like when you're talking about teams like Barcelona, apart from Espanyol, who else is in that region? They get all of the best players from that region. And you're talking about coaches, what's the name? Your Cescs, your Xavis, all of those guys, what's the name? They went out and they watched them and they were sick at 8 years old. I hear stories about how Cesc was amazing at 8 years before he came to Barcelona. Wilshere, he was amazing before he came to Arsenal. So it's not just... Sometimes it's just the way it works. Can you get the players? London's so competitive. There's so many clubs in London. That's why you see Crystal Palace. There's such a great area for talent because obviously there's a lot of working class people and it's just a great bed for talent. But it's not always the club. But obviously coaching does come into it. But sometimes it's just difficult. But they have changed the rules recently, and the catchment area thing's been relaxed a bit. So you can get players that come from a little bit further out.
But isn't the rule, it's a certain area, but unless your parents are moving to that area for professional reasons, they can't.
Yeah, it's changed recently, so I can't tell you exactly where it is, but they've relaxed it a little bit because they know that it's kind of harming. And you want the best young talent to go to the best academies, obviously. But I think for Chelsea, it's good. We've got a lot of, like I told you before, like a lot of young English players coming through that have been at the club since 8. Even in the last generation, we had Cork, that's at Southampton now. He was there since 8. Mancien, he's been there since 8. McEachran, he's been there since 8. Obviously not making it through, but I think a lot, even the Manchester United, there are teams that they do like Lansbury. I'm not sure how long was Lansbury at Arsenal for.
For a good while.
Yeah, it was 9 or 10 or something.
So they're not necessarily going to make it through. But then again, we look at the level of Premier League football. It's different to back in the 90s days. We're having Aguero here. We've got Yaya here. So the English kids, they have to grow up to be even better than they were before.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're seeing a slower production of these players coming through. Which I'm one of the people who I actually like the fact that we've got a load of foreign players, because I think around the competition, you're going to have to come through and have to be better. So now we're seeing like with the new gen of, I remember watching England under-21s. I think it was in the James Milner type generation.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the under-21s now, and we are a lot more gifted technically.
Yeah.
Now than we were then before. And I do like that. But what I do not like with our current system is that with the money involved in the game, unless a club hasn't got money, we see the clubs with less money are more reliant on their actual youth setup to bring up players. So because now a lot of clubs have got money, they're not relying on their youth system as much, and I think that's going to harm our game and our own players.
I think that also goes into the fact that now there is more money in football. There's more money up for grabs. The less people are going to want to take the risk on young football. Young footballers as well.
That's exactly it. They'll rather go and buy the finished article than to churn and nurture a young talent from around the block. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, who respects what? Oh God, mind gone blank. Who's the Fulham manager called again?
McGaff.
Yeah, who respects what he's doing at Fulham? I mean, he's brought in quite a few youngsters. I really brought them into the deep end. In a relegation dogfight.
I'm a bit like,
how do you think that
they're in the middle of fighting relegation. It's not the right time.
You don't think it's the right time? So do you not think that will aid their development?
What about Sherwood? He's brought through Ben Taleb, Kane. He's giving these guys a chance. What him?
But maybe he can, because Sherwood was never touted as a long-term Spurs manager.
I just think if you're like 6 games away from relegation, there's something you need to go for more of a certainty.
Okay, but
in terms
of the player's development, do you think that actually aids the player, or do you think it's a detriment to the player? Do you think
Well, you can't say that unless we see where, for example, if they were to get relegated, for example, you could argue that unless you want to go down a route of saying it's character building. But if you
what's the worst that can happen if he does play these players to their development?
Confidence.
What happens? If they get relegated, what happens?
But their confidence could be knocked.
Why?
Bro, they know they get relegated anyway. They're young. They're young.
It's like it's not really their fault that they get relegated. They're young, being brought into this team.
So maybe in terms of the youngsters in isolation as them, it's a good thing. But then as the club as a whole,
true.
Like in a current situation, maybe you couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
what about Sherwood though? Sherwood though, he's actually come through and playing guys like Harry Kane. Ben Taleb was one I was really, because I never even. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm Ben Taleb from early, but even just I saw the guy for 90 minutes. I was like, where did this guy come from?
I agree that Sherwood should be given credit for it, but what I'm trying to say is if Sherwood was in a different position and he was given the long-term role at Spurs, like handed a 4-year contract or 3-year contract or whatever, would he have implemented these youngsters into the team?
But Sherwood wants the role, so why would he?
Sherwood wants the role, exactly.
But what I'm saying, I think it's been evident and apparent from early that Sherwood was never going to get the role.
No. But we're hearing Sherwood. Did you see the interview when Sherwood was complaining about the guys upstairs, and apparently they want them to get top 4, and if they get top 4, then apparently Sherwood will get the role. And Sherwood was saying that there's no way I'm going to get top 4, so it's kind of like they was never going to give me the role anyway.
Right.
But he was trying, and he was upset that obviously it was going away from them. So obviously the fact that he's playing young players, it's not that it's just because he's on the temporary. Because obviously he was trying to get top 4.
For me, with Sherwood, like the thing is, he's seen the youth team, he's seen the youth systems, he knows these players, he trusts these players because he knows them. That's why he's played them. He's like, I know exactly what I'm going to get from Bentaleb because I've seen him for X amount of time. I've trained him. I know exactly what has to offer, and that's why I'm going to play him. And I have to think he has to be commended for that. He's just been brave because he's like, I believe in this player. I will play him.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think me personally, I want to see a lot of managers being headhunted because they know how to bring through youth talent. Like, for example, Brendan Rodgers, I liked what he did with Raheem Sterling. Like, he stopped playing him for a while because he didn't want him to get burnt out. Obviously, a lot of other teams, they might have seen, this guy is amazing, playing for the whole season, and he started picking up injuries. Obviously, his body's still growing. He's not used to that tempo of football. So, I'm actually even a few of my Liverpool mates were complaining that why isn't Raheem playing, etc., etc. Last season. Now this season, look what Raheem Sterling's doing.
I remember when I think I was talking to you, Ayo, and I was like, and you were talking about how much you dislike Moyes, and I was saying that you have to give him props for playing Januzaj, and you were like, that was due anyway. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, but that was due. That was due. So that's what I'll give. I don't give Moyes props for anything. Januzaj was due. I think even with Januzaj, don't forget, Januzaj's development was also due to circumstance. Same thing with now Kagwart's playing, because the period when Rooney got injured, Nani got injured, Van Persie was injured. I think Young was injured for a bit. Young was always injured. We had a lot of injuries, so we actually had to pay. Zaha was doing jazz and training, so we actually had to pay Januzaj more than he actually wanted to. So
but
now
you've got to give Moyes credit for Januzaj.
Yeah, I think you've got to give him some credit.
Even in pre-season, before anyone got injured, Januzaj had been playing most games.
So did Lindegaard, but Lindegaard got sent out on loan.
I know, but at the same time, what Moyes said, and you just have to take it at face value, what Moyes said at the beginning of the season, because Januzaj didn't play at the beginning of the season. What Moyes said was that he always wanted to play Januzaj, but he just didn't think that he could do that because if it all went wrong. But he said that he should have gone with his gut and played him from the beginning.
Fair dues, but I personally don't believe him. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. Well, that question about whether throwing youngsters into the deep end and whether it being beneficial to them, that was from Car16 on Twitter. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get through these questions.
Can I add a little bit more to that, throwing them in the deep end thing? I think, yes, throw them in the deep end. One thing I hate is the ready word, because Raphael, when he first came to Ayo, when Raphael came into the Man United team, was he ready? Or was he still making erratic mistakes at 18 years old?
He was making crazy mistakes, but but that's how you learn as a footballer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you learn on the job.
Exactly, but everyone's saying that, no, this guy's not ready yet. This guy's not ready yet. It's bullshit.
Well, there's the saying.
I only say you're not ready in terms of not mentality. If your technique is just not there yet, you see you're still growing technically.
Technique doesn't change that much.
No. Some players have improved a lot technically, and tactically. Tactically, I meant tactically. Like, obviously, some players are not as smart tactically, but I think if you've got the ability, I don't see why you just quote unquote being thrown in a deep end. Well, because it's the same argument people use that he's not ready, he has to adapt. Well, if you buy, for example, I don't know, a Draxler from Germany, is he still going to have to come in?
Yeah.
The league? You're still playing. So,
when we talk, sorry. Go on.
No, go on.
Oh yeah, when we talk about players already, though, I think one of the most important things is physically, especially in the Premier League. So if I say, because I was been saying this about Akpom, a lot of people have been saying let's play Akpom first team, and personally I just think he's not ready. One, he's still 17, and for me I don't think he's ready physically to be thrown in against the likes of sort of Collins and Reed or something from West Ham. And two, sometimes when a person's game is not complete, like I was saying tactically, they're making very, very silly errors which will be very detrimental to the first team. So the mistakes are massive, so they're massive mistakes. So I think one, they need to make sure they're tactically ready, and two, they need to make sure they're physically ready. But apart from that, once that's sorted, yeah, chuck them in the deep end.
Leroy.
There's the saying pressure either burst pipes or create diamonds, isn't it? So I guess it could apply.
Yeah, but look. For example, I'll take the example of Raphael. I'll take the examples of Wayne Rooney and David Beckham. When they were young, all these players made mistakes. Beckham sent off in '98. Rooney's been sent off plenty of times when he was young. Raphael, even the Bayern Munich game, the time before he played Bayern Munich, We're 3-0 up. Okay, they got a goal. We're murdering them. It looked like we're going to win 7-0. He gets a yellow card unfairly. Then on the halfway line, he's grabbing Ruby's shirt for like 20 minutes. Basically, he gets a yellow card. Raphael had Ruby in his back pocket that game, but that stupid mistake cost us the Champions League. Okay, we may not have won it, but we were cruising. We went down to 10 men, lost to Robin Screamer to go away goals. That was a massive mistake by Raphael.
I don't like the fact that
he grew from that though.
Yeah, but even Gibbs' mistake against you guys, against Man
I
City.
remember that. Yeah.
He slips.
But I just don't like the fact that when an older player makes a mistake,
He's
cool. He's ready. But when it's a younger player makes a mistake, it's because he's not ready. See the difference in context.
Yeah, same thing with David De Gea. When he came through, he was making a load of mistakes. Everyone's like, he's body, but he bulked up. He bulked up, and now he's good. Like, I think young players should be given a chance. If they got the ability, there's only one way they're going to learn.
And another thing that I hate is that with Chelsea, for instance, there was one season with Ancelotti where we had 4 or 5 players. It was Sturridge, Barini, Bruma, and Kakuta, and McEachran. Those are the 5. And we had a small squad, but they said it's fine because we're going to use our young players to supplement the squad. And so what happens is a lot of fans get like really excited when these guys come on for 5-minute cameos and all of that type of stuff. And it's the worst thing because what happens is Chelsea are losing the game. On the bench, you have all of these young players. They throw them on for 10 minutes to try and rescue the games. You've got the big players that couldn't win the game in the 80 minutes. Then you've got these young players that come in for 10 minutes. And because they didn't make a change, then they're like, he's not ready yet. He's not all of this type.
Yeah.
So you can't bring in loads of young talents at the same time. But just commit to at least one at a time. Like Raphael just came in, just one player. And the rest of the team should be able to make up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened to J. Manuel Thomas against Chelsea.
Yeah.
He got brought
I mean, even a more recent example, I think I was talking to Leroy about it recently. I mean, last season we were losing at home to Schalke, and Wenger brought on Gnabry. And I think we were 1-0 down, and he brought on Gnabry, and he just basically said to Gnabry, run at him, try new things. Like, you know what Wenger does.
I remember he'd done a few step-overs.
But he made a mistake. He gave the ball away, and Schalke scored the second, literally 5 minutes after coming on. And after that game, we didn't see Gnabry play for quite a few games, I'm sure.
Which is bad.
But you don't know how that hit his confidence. I mean, that's what I was saying about, bringing him in early sometimes.
Well, the best thing is, that's what I'm saying. I think just commit to it. If you're going to play a player, not all of this 5 minutes bullshit, you commit to it. Because the thing is, if he makes a mistake in that 5 minutes, that moment of time, and he doesn't get played again, that compounds the mistake. And you're going to hit his confidence. Whereas if you say to Rafa, if you make a mistake and next game you're playing, you got a chance to make up for that mistake, because that's what all the other players get.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I don't like that. They're not ready to talk. I hate hearing that.
Okay, so I've got a question here from Galactico. He asked, how big is the transition from, say, under-21 football to playing in the Premier League?
Who wants to take that first?
I think it's massive.
You think it's massive?
Simply because the fact that a lot of players are playing under 21 or resis, they don't make it to play at similar standards. So they're not actually playing of players of the future. Maybe in each team, two from that squad will go through to play the Premiership. Maybe not even at that same club. Do you know what I mean? I think the best level for youth is like the actual international tournaments, like the under 21 tournament. I think that's
because you're playing against the elite of the elite sort of thing.
Yeah, because you're playing against the future of that nation.
Yeah.
That's the cream of that nation, not just the under 21s. Because bear in mind, some of the best under 21s may not even be playing in the under 21s because they're so good they're playing the first team. So
but there was
okay. You wanna go?
No, I was just gonna say. I think Leroy can help me out. There was this Robert Martinez interview we listened to, and he said something about from like early ages to 18, England have one of the best youth setups in the world. But from 18 to 21, it's one of the worst.
Yeah.
He never said why, but
So Roberto Martinez said this.
Yeah. He said that when he came to this country, that's what he realised, and he sticks with it. And
a lot of like Mourinho came to this country as well, and he was saying that he kind of really tried to champion bringing in the B team, because obviously in Spain they have the B team system where it's in the competitive league, and one of the complaints about the under-21 league is that the fight's not there, because obviously it's not real competition.
Yeah.
The quality's not there and all that, and they're trying to recreate it, but it's difficult because it's not that competitive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, there's a question from Sam's as well. I mean, he asked, what is the best way forward, like, in terms of youth football? So they've done, like, the next gen, which is obviously a competitive edge to European club youth football, which I think that's a great idea.
Gives them a chance to travel and
exactly. But the under-21 league, as you said, it's not competitive. The FA Youth Cup is great. I love the FA Youth Cup. But the under-21 league, I mean, especially where you can even get, isn't it like you can play like 3 over 21 players or something like that?
Which is fine, because sometimes you need it for reserves to come back.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But what can be done to really, really improve that area from 18 to 21? Because this is the area where we seem to be struggling.
The final stages of development.
Yeah, what can be done? I mean, the B team idea doesn't seem particularly realistic and plausible in this country.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to completely revamp the system, but then how do you do that?
I think prize money.
Prize money,
I think that's the only, because that money motivates football in this country.
Yeah, but how much money are you talking about? Do you know how big football is?
I know, but like,
whatever
prize
it takes.
money, prize money.
Who's going to pay for that money?
Yeah, that's the thing as well, because prize money...
You know, but think about it, because prize money in this country, for just being a Premier League, started to get so big that the FA Cup lost its value.
Yeah.
Because before, you would never see Middlesbrough, those teams playing their reserve teams in the FA Cup. When I was growing up. Never. The FA Cup was a big thing.
But I think that's more because of the Champions League, though.
So what's that to do with West Ham and all these teams playing reserve teams in the Champions?
Because if the big teams aren't taking it seriously, then obviously it devalues the cup. Right now, the big cup that's domestic.
No, because even He-Man just saying, I will trade in this cup run for extra 9 points in the league to stay in the league.
Yeah,
those man say that because the money. Because once they go down, they're losing crazy money, and staying in the Premiership brings crazy money. So I think, obviously, I don't know the economics of the money that FA gets in, but off the top of my head, I can't see what more we could do apart from.
I think the prize money idea is a very good idea, personally. But obviously, you do get the problem, is what Daniel was going to say, is who's going to fund it? Because let's face it, I mean, under 21 games, I know we went yesterday and there was probably, about 5,000-6,000 there maybe? I don't know the attendance, but that's because it's at Stamford Bridge, it's a high-profile game. But your general under 21 game that is done at Boreham Wood, and you're only getting 100 fans there, and I don't even think they pay for tickets at Boreham Wood, it's all free to go and watch.
Well, the way they did try to redesign it was the way they wanted it is they wanted, Saturday 3 o'clock games.
Yeah.
They wanted it so that games were played before that, so people would come earlier and watch the youth game,
right? And
then after watch. So that was kind of like a precursor. That's what they tried to bring in, but it's difficult because when it's held in big stadiums. Just when it's held in big stadiums, there's a lot of red tape around it and all that type of stuff.
Of course.
That is what they tried to bring in. But in terms of the level for the under-21 league, it's like, like with Suarez in Holland, you don't have to always be playing at that top level, I don't think that the level is a big problem in the reason why they can't transition. I think it is a lot about trust. I think a lot of the time is like McEachran, he came into Chelsea team when he was 16 or 17. He was fine. Under Ancelotti, he was actually good. But then a lot of confidence goes down because obviously you're not playing all that type of stuff. So I think it's just like with Barcelona. Guardiola says it's just trust. He said the reason why you look at Atletico Bilbao and you see them playing players and youth players, and the reason why you see Barcelona filled with is just trust. There's a lot of people that just don't want to trust their young players. I think that's the big issue.
But they look at why they're not trusting them. It's because it's what's it called? Fear of failure.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So,
but then, like with Sait saying earlier, he wouldn't play. He doesn't like Felix playing the young players because of obviously they're in relegation zones. If you look for the perfect time to play them, there's never a perfect time, and that's what happens. All of these people, they look for the perfect time, but there is never a perfect time. Yeah.
Just play them.
I mean, what do you guys think of like the lack of media coverage of youth football in this country? I mean, when you look at across to America in sports like basketball, NFL, even like hockey and stuff, is all ingrained in the college mentality. They sell out 80,000 seater stadiums for like college games and stuff. Why is there such a lack of media attention in this country? Why is there, even from the fans' point of view?
That's a culture. That's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing, but what can we do to make that better?
American sports are franchised, so there's a set number of teams in the league. They don't get promoted regularly. It never changes. And the only way you can get players is from the draft pool, which is through college.
Yeah.
So that's why it's competitive, because it's basically like having a European and then have the European Super League. So say we have teams, then it's okay. It's your Barca, your Arsenal, your Juventus, etc. And then you have one else like your Everton, your Stuttgart, blah blah blah. So obviously, if you want to watch, those are only 2 levels of that sport across the whole country. So obviously, if money's invested, a lot of people are going to watch.
Yeah, I'm not saying to try and replicate it. I'm just sort of like saying, how do we get more media attention?
I think with America and the college system and the what's the name? I think with America, you see it on these shows. A lot of the towns, that's where it's just all of the towns supporting that one team. Whereas here, you've got in London, you've got Man United. People growing up in London supporting Manchester United. So there's that disconnect where, because there's so many teams in London, people don't feel kind of like it's not all one team supporting a whole thing.
Are you not comparing London to America though? Because in England, like if we look at it as UK as a whole, you've got like the majority of Manchester support either Man United or City.
Yeah,
but because America, forget America has 375 million people, and they have like 50 states. And
where did you get that stat from? How did you pull that from your head? You're amazing. You're amazing. That was amazing.
No, but yeah, I was just gonna say they've got links to like towns. It's more like town because obviously with club football, it's not about geographics anymore.
Oh yeah, sure.
As in it's international, and then also the college system. People that go to a certain university, they always support that college team. So there is that link there.
You need to look.
We're forgetting how big America is, because you forget that. For example, California itself is bigger than the whole of it.
It's twice the size of the UK.
So if you have one team, one state, of course the whole of that community is going to support that one team. So, for example, take California, they have, I think, they have the Lakers, Golden State. They have 3 basketball teams. And that's double the size of the UK.
But I'll tell you what, Ayo, you can.
How many teams do you play?
You can even leave the college argument, but I've seen high school basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah, where
but high school basketball is it's a tier system. You go from high school, all the players in high school, and the ones going to the draft, one's going to NBA or to
but high school games are televised.
Exactly, because people feel like they can chart the progress of a young player. Someone from high school to college to that.
Because those players at that youth level, they're guaranteed. Because it's not like here where, for example, I'm sure many of you guys remember guys at Fran Merida. You probably thought, and Arturo Lupoli, that these guys are definitely going through. It's not like in America. If Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, when you see these guys balling in high school, you know for a fact they're going, because there's a structure in place that guarantees that.
And so when we don't see players coming through often, of course these people are going to be disinterested in you.
Yeah, seeing that, it doesn't really matter.
So the more we see young players come through, the more people will say, all right, let me watch this young game because I'm going to see players of the future.
Oh, that's fair. That's a fair point.
And have you noticed that when you hear a reputation of a player, for example, me, I went to watch the Arsenal-Chelsea game because I wanted to see Hanzalian because of that reputation. Otherwise, or however you find this guy's name, but obviously, otherwise I probably wouldn't have went. So once if the media was able to, I don't know, maybe media coverage as well, like say the youth games were on TV a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, like a specialist youth channel maybe.
Or just like say, for example, the youth league, like one of the 1 to 5 channels bought the rights for the youth league to televise. See, like I was on a BBC or ITV4 or BBC 3 or whatever. I think then you'll see the interest in youth football go, because it's just there.
And then with the interest, you would maybe see the under-21 league becoming more competitive as well.
Yeah, because more people watch it, the more money goes into it.
Yeah, there you go. So that's where you generate your prize money from.
And I reckon you'd actually see instant results.
Yeah, I think you would as well.
Definitely, because, for example, especially if they do it smartly. Okay, what's the traditional days we don't really see football? Friday. Fridays, maybe Thursdays. Do those random
Unless you're a Spurs fan and Man United fan next year.
Okay, steady on. Yeah, yeah. Even those days, or the fact that there's midweek football on, people watch it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People definitely watch, and it's football, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. The fact that our young boys are playing tonight, it's not like you don't have to leave the house to go watch people you don't know, because people work for their money.
But at the same time, they have to think
They don't
about...
want to dispose it for entertainment.
Yeah, at the same time, that you have to think about, and what they did recently as well is that if you play, they train to get ready for a game. So if you train and these players are ready for Wednesday, then Saturday comes along, and then all of a sudden your manager needs a young player, but because they've just played in the game before, he can't play. So at the same time, you do have to think about, all right, let's try to align it with the squads so that they're ready just in case opportunity comes available in the first team. So that's why they wanted to kind of do it where, okay, Friday is a night where no football usually goes on. So, but we'll have them Friday or Saturday or just before the match, like I said before. But it is difficult. It's difficult to even get TV channels to actually buy into this, because obviously,
I
Friday night.
personally think it'll be worth it.
Yeah, there is. It's there, but I know they do show some games. I wonder what the figures is when they do put these FA Youth Cup games on ITV4. I think there is an appetite there. I mean, we're all football fans. Not all of us always watch youth football, but if youth football were to come on, I think all of us would watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, definitely.
I do think the FA needs to take some responsibility for that, and not extort the TV company, because they need them as much as the TV company need the FA. Do you know what I mean? So, if they would just sort of make it say cheap for the TV company to buy and just get it out there, if they got it out there, and then I think it'll be.
Because it's a multiplier effect. It's still an investment because money's coming in anyway that wasn't coming in before. So. Yeah. And the fact that if you build interest in something, as I said, it gets more competitive, it gets more coverage, more money comes through it. Yeah. And that's more money get pumped into the game. It's only going to do better for the youth players, for the youth setup. And that's only going to improve our country's football setup. So
do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny? With a great example of this is the Next Gen organisation. I don't know if you know, but the Next Gen is a private guy. Some guy just thought, fuck it, I'm going to sort it out.
It's a private competition. Yeah, I read about
it. Yeah, so it was a private competition. He just got it together. They got investors and they got everything together. Pow. They sorted it out. They done Amazing. 2 seasons. It was all going well. Then UEFA thought, all right, fuck it, we're going to do our own one. So it took someone to come from outside completely,
external,
set up a youth, exactly, for UEFA to get up and say, all right, let's do this. And it's the same with the Premier League. It's like, it is lazy. There's a lot of laziness.
So, I mean, does the Under-21 Premier League, the Under-21 League, sorry, do they have a sponsor? There's no sponsor, is there?
No, not yet. Not of yet, but obviously it's difficult. It's new. Don't forget, it used to be the Reserve League.
So maybe in terms of sponsorship, that could have a lot of sway in pushing it towards TV companies and stuff like that. And sponsors put money into it.
What do you guys think about the investment into facilities as well?
What about
it? How important should that be? Where on a priority list in clubs? For example, Southampton, I don't know if you guys heard, they're investing, I think, 30 mil into 12 pitches of all different grass types, so they can prepare.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
It's because of this Under-21 league. There are rules, like I said, they go around assessing all of the different clubs.
Yeah.
And facilities come into it. And what happens, there's different bands. And so it's not a relegation and promotion thing. What happens is that the people that rate the academies, if you're in band 1, then you get put into the top band. If you're in band 2, you get put into band 2. And this has kind of diverse effects because people from band 1, it's easy for them to steal a player from band 4 and they can't stop it. So if your club's in band 4 and you've got a hot young talent, they can just say, all right, we'll pay you 30,000 and they can't stop it going through. So it's important for clubs like Southampton to stay in band 1. Otherwise, all of these teams could just poach the talent.
Is that what happened with Chelsea and Isaiah Brown?
Izzy Brown, I think so, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think I'd rather see the money being invested into the intelligence and preparation of coaches than actual facilities. Because I think if improving our players tactically and technically is mainly to do with coaching than actual facilities.
We see with Brazil. we see with like places like South American countries where facilities aren't the be all and end all.
Mm.
Yeah, but
I've got a question from Elijah on Twitter, and basically, not Elijah, sorry, Marco Rubes on Twitter, one of our guests. He asked, should young kids be playing like futsal during the winter? So maybe 8 to 13-year-olds maybe play futsal to work on technique. Would that help?
Well, Roberto Martinez has his youth players, like even the older lot, like the 18-year-olds playing futsal.
Right.
So I guess it has certain effects on technique, because that's what the Brazilians do, no?
Not just Brazilians. Ozil
Spanish.
played futsal.
Dutch.
Germany, it's really big in Germany. It's really big on the continent. I think
They have futsal leagues, like proper European big futsal leagues.
Yeah, futsal is really good.
Our futsal league here is not as popular as it is.
Oh, the futsal league in this country is trash.
Yeah.
Yes.
They do have like franchise opportunities, like, but it's so expensive because I looked into it myself, trying to set up a futsal thing here. It is difficult because getting the people, getting obviously when to do it, because obviously if you're going to be dealing with children, we're talking about youth people dealing up. It's difficult to get. Obviously they go to school. Holidays isn't enough. It's something that repetitively done. And Brazil is a culture. Just the fact that it's a small ball, it's heavier. The futsal is heavier, so you can't just lift it up, and it's not bouncy. So it's a focus on technique. It's faster. You have to think fast. So a lot of the players that played futsal, they say that every young player should come through for
And the ball doesn't go out of play as well. I don't think.
It does.
It does. You just got to
it does. It doesn't.
kick it
they don't
in,
like
though,
the
don't you?
rebounding thing because they think it's not proper. It's not proper.
Yeah, shit.
Because that was Ozil's point, innit? Ozil's like, he says in every interview how the ball never went out of play. They used to just play for hours on end.
Mm.
It does actually in futsal. The ball can go out of play.
See, must be a recent thing.
He might have been talking like in a sports hall sort of thing.
Yeah, talk about
Nazi
like
futsal.
a local cage he used to play in.
Oh, okay.
That's not really futsal. That's not really futsal.
I see.
No. I mean, the futsal. I think they just had like the World Cup that was recently on, and I watched a bit of it. It's pretty good stuff, you know. I mean, a lot of the futsal players actually do play football. I don't know professionally, but
yeah, they do. Are you talking about? Yeah, they do.
Like I remember there was a Brazilian guy. Was it Falcao?
Falcao.
Oh, he was amazing.
He's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, he's amazing.
But he wasn't the greatest pro player, was he?
Yeah, because he did switch. He switched to Brazilian, and it didn't pan out for him. But I think that's just because you get used to playing futsal, and it's a different game. So it's good to transition. Like Ganso for Santos that came through with Neymar. Neymar played futsal as well, but he made the transition. Sorry, the transition a little bit later. But you do have to make that transition because obviously it's a bigger pitch. It's a different game altogether. But yeah, it is a good way to start.
Okay. Let's sort of like go down a different avenue. Sait raised a good point earlier today. In terms of like, we were talking a bit about Ruben Loftus-Cheek earlier, and am I right in saying he's on £10,000 a week?
It's something mad crazy
Something crazy, and he is 16 years old. So Sait's question was: are youth players too spoilt? I mean, do they get too much too soon? I mean, when you hear about the old pros speak, they always speak about how at the very least they were assigned one first team member's pair of boots in the changing rooms, and that those pair of boots had to be washed every day in training,
Even
after every match. You know, they were assigned that, and then they were paid literally peanuts. Under the YTS agreement, they were paid something like £27.50 a week. Yeah. I mean, how has that impacted? I understand like the financial sort of implication of you need to give these players the money these days because otherwise someone else will. Exactly. But I mean, how does that affect a young player these days? Daniel?
Okay, well, Frank Lampard was talking about himself. And what he wanted to bring into Chelsea was he wanted to get all of the young players to be assigned to one of the senior players and washing their boots and all that type of stuff. But maybe not like that, but something like that. And with Chelsea as well, when Mourinho first came in, what he did was he brought everyone together. So everyone had lunch together. You had the youth team players with the older players, and there was just like building a kind of family atmosphere. But what happened recently is they decided, no, we're going to separate them again, because what happens is these players thought they had made it.
Right.
Obviously, they were driving fast cars. They was going out getting girls, and people knew their name earlier because there is a bigger interest in youth football. So there are like players like Kakuta at Chelsea. There was stories about him and how he he was doing things like he was a baller before he actually made it, and it does affect hunger. The phrase you use, too much too soon, that is, it's definitely important. And just in terms of, it's the hunger. When we see players like Ronaldinho, the Brazilian phenomenon of these players that are so good, but then when they make it and they achieve everything, the hunger drops. What happens is they're getting too much adulation too soon. I think that's one of the most things. There's too much fan support too soon. People will say that this person is going to be a worldie too soon. And so what happens is they think they make it. They think they don't have to work as hard. I think we don't have to go back to washing boots and all that type of stuff.
No, it is a bit prehistoric, but...
Yeah, we do need to change. We do need players to understand that they have to work hard to make it, because when you look at it, the best players in the world, they work their socks off in training. They work their socks off.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to add on to that?
No, I said it pretty much spot on.
Yeah. Okay. There's a few more questions that I need to tick off the list. Aaron, Arsenal supporter, Aaron DPM9, or I don't know what that means.
He's a robot.
Yeah, it's some sort of robot. He basically asked it, is there sort of like a problem or in English football where in terms of like racial stacking, so like you see a lot of pacey black wingers and maybe more technical white centre midfielders. Is there some sort of correlation going in there? Is there something to be looked into here? I don't know. What are you guys thinking, Leroy?
I don't think there is. I just think, not even to be rude, that's just cases where some people genetically have different attributes to others, and that's what comes through. I mean, you do play to your strengths generally, and you do get a lot of sort of black wingers which are quite quick. So because they're quite quick when they're young, they're generally put in the positions where pace is desired. So that's why they end up playing on the wing, or a lot of them end up playing up front, etc., or right back and things like that. But I don't really think there is a massive issue to be addressed, really, not at all. I just think it's where they get that, where the attributes are more favourable, is where they play where they're younger, and that just sticks. That's my opinion on it.
Oh, okay.
Can I chime in a little bit as well?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, go. Say.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know about it on a coaching level. I don't think I'm aware, but like, I can only speak on a media level. I know media have a kind of, they tint certain things, and certain players of different, how do I put this? Like, I'm trying to be like Leroy and not be rude, but like certain players are described certain ways. So like, the Lukakus and the Drogbas are described as beasts and
monsters,
having and things like that. Whereas like Ibrahimovic has a huge body shape and he's not described anything like that. You know, he's described as a technical player.
Yeah.
No, but then again, maybe because Ibrahimovic ability is more reliant on his technique compared to Drogba or Lukaku.
Yeah.
No, but then again, you can't tell me there's not a play like, for example,
Andy Carroll.
Carroll.
And he doesn't
Andy Carroll's called. Yes, he does.
He doesn't get called as beast as often as
I've never even heard it, to be honest.
But no, because no one talks about Andy Carroll anyway. But when they talk about
but there was a time when people were talking about Andy Carroll, and they don't use that kind of adjective as much. I've noticed the same thing. That's why when I hear like, I heard Dzeko being called a beast, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's rare. It's definitely rare.
It's rare, man.
But you know.
But one thing I kind of want to allude to on that point, is that I think that we need to, a lot of time youth level, when a player has a certain physical attribute, whether it be height or speed or strength, they tend to get put in a position to maximise that instead of
working on their technical
ability. So they don't have to rely on that attribute. For example, that's why I saw impressive Loftus-Cheek, because he was the biggest player on the pitch, but he wasn't the best player on the pitch because he was the biggest player on the pitch.
Yeah.
He was bossing the game because of his ability. He had a great touch. He was a step ahead of everyone else. He could pass with both feet.
He could see the game as well.
Yeah, he could see the game. He was playing 360. He had eyes in the back of his head, basically. That's why he was the player. So I think we need to. I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of kids growing up around my area that they are right wingers or their strikers or centre midfielders, but because they're massive, their coach, when they go into a semi-pro club or pro club, okay, we're going to train you to play centre back because you're tall and you could jump, stuff like that. Like, I think
Because that's, if we remember, that's what J. Emmanuel Thomas said in his
Yeah, that's
interview
what he
a few weeks ago, isn't it?
And that shocked me because that's Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
But on the kind of ethnicity thing, I think a lot of players, just for instance, when you look at France, we'll take different countries. You look at France, you look at Holland. They've got a lot of North African players, and they all come through kind of skillful. And I think it's a heritage thing. Just like being a Nigerian coming through, I watched the Nigerian team playing a lot of skills. We was always taught to do a lot more skills. So I think it's almost that. It's not just like racial profiling or saying you have to play a certain way. It's just kind of like socialization into that way. We see certain players playing like that, and obviously the physical ability as well. But I think that's fine. That's completely fine. It brings up a different type of player. When you look at the English national team, we've got the fast, the light skin, the mixed race guys, wingers. We got so many yellow people in the English team. It's crazy.
They used to piss me off at football training when I was younger, with their privileged boots.
with their name on it.
Yeah, had their names on their boots.
Yeah. But that's fine for me.
Multicolored boots looking like, they come like a packet of Starburst, like all yellow boots, purple boots.
I've got another question. This is probably going to be more centered towards Leroy and Sait. Rue AFC asks, how do you feel? I think we've answered a bit more about Akpom, but his question was more to do with. I know, Leroy, you said that you don't think Akpom is ready, but due to the strikers we actually have at Arsenal, how do you feel about Sanogo being ahead of Akpom in the pecking order?
That is an interesting question because personally, I actually watched Sanogo at youth level, at least for the national team, in a couple of tournaments, and I wasn't particularly impressed by him. But I'm actually impressed by Akpom in terms of I think he's a goal scorer. I think he's got a lot to offer. And the only thing is, I'm not really so sure that physically he seems ready for the league. And that's just my opinion in terms of, especially with the centre-backs the way they are, the centre-backs in the Premier League, they're just animals, really. So I can understand why Sanogo's ahead of him, because Sanogo is so much further than him physically. But I see the point where people are saying that why they'd want Akpom ahead of Sanogo as well. But personally, I would keep Sanogo ahead of him at the moment, and I think I'll wait for Akpom to sort of mature physically.
Say, the goals that Akpom scores at youth level, doesn't that warrant him a place in the first team ahead of Sanogo? I mean, what has Sanogo done?
Well, I was thinking about this the other night, and I was trying to come up with, because I personally would put Akpom ahead of him, but then I was thinking, could it be for development reasons? As in, like, it seems like, I don't know, it's a bit backwards, but like, technically, we all know Akpom looks better technically than Sanogo does, but I'm thinking, has Wenger got like an idea of Sanogo's development, and does he think dropping him in the deep end would aid him more than dropping Akpom in the deep end, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was thinking maybe that could be a reason, as in maybe Akpom's development's best served where he is, and Sanogo's development's best served where he is. But in terms of aiding the team, if we're looking at physically, which plays a huge part in the Prem, Sanogo's in a better position. Than
But
Akpom is.
I mean, but Sanogo was never in the position. I mean, Wenger took one look at him and said, "Right, you are not strong enough," and sent him back to France for 3 months. So then, rather than maybe bringing,
But do we know it's because of his strength?
well, Wenger said it, didn't he? Wenger said that he was needed to send him away for conditioning.
Oh, I see.
But then, I mean, maybe then you would see maybe Akpom given a chance, but then he recalls Bentner, and I know experience comes into it, but
Bentner's better than both of them.
Bentner is better than both of them. But my point is when is Akpom going to be deserving of a chance? Because at this rate,
I think it's coming soon.
yeah.
I honestly think it's coming soon, or not. If not, he's gonna have a season-long stint loan somewhere.
What do you guys think of season-long loans and stuff? I mean, Daniel, I know you'll probably have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I hate loans in general. Just because I feel like, okay, loans aren't bad. They can be used for good, but I feel like it's a babysitting scenario. So if you have kids, you're not always going to just want to, get babysitters every single time. It should be the last case scenario because you need a break or because it should be the last thing. But these people are drawing for it like it's the default. And it's so stupid because obviously different clubs have their different styles. Different clubs should have their different styles, and you should be teaching your club, your players to how to play for Chelsea or how to play for Arsenal. And it's like you talk about Zelalem, and you were saying that how you see him playing in the reserves and he ain't that good, but then you see him play for Arsenal and he's sick. So what happens is these players go on loan, and you see him playing for one team and he can't do anything, and then people think that they can't do something for Arsenal, where that's not necessarily the case. So it's bad for everything. The reason why I say it's so bad is because in the majority of cases, it's just get out of here. So basically, we want to hold on to you, but we're not going to trust you. That's what it is. We're not ready to play you, but we're not ready to sell you. That's what it is.
Or they can't sell you, more like.
I think clubs are very irresponsible in the way they learn out their players. I think, for example, like, you should know your players. Like, if you've got a player who plays a certain style, then you have to, if you're going to learn him out, he's going to have to be learned to a team that plays that style. And also, people are learning out players, and they're just going there to be a squad option. So it's not really aided because they're just going there to train. Basically, they're just basically going there to just train.
Yeah.
So why would you learn that your player to go to, like I say, for example, Crew Alexandra, and he's on the bench for Crew, maybe gets like 4 or 5 appearances a season, when he could have stayed at your academy or reserves and still trained at a higher level
and be playing.
Go on.
Yeah, what happens is there are, like, when you talk about Barkley was on the bench for Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday when he was on loan there. And what happens is that they know they're talented, so they send them out to these lower leagues thinking because they're so talented, they're going to start. But then you get these managers thinking, well, this is an important game. Do I pay this youth player? He hasn't got experience. He's on the bench. And what happens when you give your player to another team? They're going to do what's best for the team. They're not going to do what's best for their development. That's why it should always be the last resort, sending your player out on loan, because these managers, they have to take care of Sheffield Wednesday. They have to take care of what's the name. And like Sait was saying earlier with the Fulham situation, do you play these young players? This is what is going through English managers. And then what happens is the fans will say, "Oh, look, Barkley's on loans at Leeds, and he's not playing for Leeds. Therefore, he's not that good." The fans will lose faith in them. Barkley will start questioning his own ability. So it's this kind of downward spiral, and that's why I think loans are very dangerous.
I personally think like there is a place for loans, and if you talk about these situations, it proper depends on the situation, because like you will have certain, say you had Arsene Wenger and he's got a good relationship with the manager in this team, and they're always in communication, and they know, okay, I'm going to give you this player and you're going to play him. So, like, for example, if he had a good relationship with Roberto Martinez, he said, I'm going to give you this player, I trust you with this player, and Roberto Martinez actually plays this player. Fair enough. I do understand what you're saying. Sometimes it can be dangerous if they don't play, but I do think it's dependent on the relationship between the parent club and the manager at the parent club, or the coaching staff. And
because Arsene and Owen Cole had a good relationship.
Well, with Jack Wilshere.
Yeah. Same Ferguson and Sunderland.
Rio Miyachi as well.
Same Sunderland, where you had Welbeck go out there, he played regular minutes, so did Johnny Evans. It really aided their careers. But then again, you get certain guys who go and they're like the forgotten man of the club. So that's why I said that's why I said clubs are irresponsible in it.
But even if you do take a good relationship, let's say that you're one of the managers now, you've got that Owen Coyle Arsenal relationship. Now you're Owen Coyle. You have a young player that's playing for you. What are you going to do the best for? Because you've got a good relationship for the club? Or if Bolton are in a bad situation, what are you going to do? You're going to do the best for Bolton, right? Because you're the manager of Bolton. That is your job.
Yeah, of course you're still going to do the best for Bolton. But the thing is, like, if, say, Owen Coyle and Arsene Wenger, they have a similar mentality, say, and they think, okay, this player is talented, so playing him is the best for Bolton. It's not going to be like, oh, he's not got experience, because he doesn't think that way. And Arsene Wenger knows he doesn't think that way. That's why Arsene Wenger trusts him with that player, because you know it's not going to be like, oh, it's about experience, it's about experience. No, this player has ability, so I will play him, and I play a certain way, so he will fit into that. It's about him trusting that manager and how that manager thinks.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, people are different, and I've just seen it so many times. Even with the same managers, it's this you would never know, because there are some players, like for instance with the Owen Cole situation, didn't he had Vela as well, didn't he?
Who?
Did he?
Did Vela, or did he go to West Brom?
Vela went to West Brom.
West Brom.
Villa went to West Brom. But there was a couple of players that went to from Arsenal there, right?
It was
the
Miachi.
success story
I just remember Miachi.
Afobe went to Bolton, but I don't know if Owen Cole was manager at the time.
Okay. Well, Wilshere is the real kind of success story, right? From the loan partnership that you had.
Yeah, he's the one success story, I would say.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. But Miachi, is he still at Arsenal now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Soon to be gone though.
Soon to be gone.
He got minutes though. He got minutes.
Yeah, definitely got minutes.
He got minutes, but what I'm saying, I don't know. I don't really like loans. I'm telling you the truth. I really hate them.
I mean, let's stick with like in terms of like style of play and stuff like that. In terms of going on loan to someone who has a style of play. Elijah asks a question: should the youth teams play the same formation as the first teams? I know a lot of them do, but I mean, should they do it?
Yes.
I says yes.
Yes. Because I think because if that's what they're going to aspire, if the club wants them to stay at the club, and you don't want to hear that he's not ready, you want them to be able to be tactically aware of how the team plays. So when they come into the team, they can slot in. I think the best example of this is, we look at the Barca teams, like. Because I followed Thiago quite a lot in his young years. When Thiago used to come into the team, you wouldn't tell it's a youth player that's playing for Barcelona. I'm not sure many of you guys remember. I think it was 3 seasons ago. Barca must have already qualified the Champions League. I think they played Panathinaikos at home, and they played a bunch of youth players.
Yeah,
they won 2-0.
Yeah.
And the possession stats was exactly the same as it would have been if Lionel, Andreas, Iniesta, all those players were playing. Gone.
I didn't ask you a question because I was watching an Arsene Wenger interview and he was talking about it was on a Cesc Fabregas show and he was talking about development. I forgot the exact years, so don't quote me on this. He was like, I think 8 to a certain age is for developing technical, and then 8 to a certain another age is for physical, and then he was like 16 to like 20 is for tactical, right? But if you kind of coach them into one formation and one style of play, and then a certain player coach them into one role and one job, doesn't that handicap them in a way? Wouldn't you make their view more spherical?
I mean philosophy. Coach them to the philosophy of the team. For example, Liverpool have a philosophy, United have a philosophy, Barca have a philosophy. They can play different formations and systems. So
what's the Man United philosophy?
You're trying to send.
I'm not. I'm just asking questions.
What about the speed at which like football's moving? Like
no.
In terms of
our philosophy traditionally is a high tempo. It's a high tempo philosophy. We tend to press high. Defensively, we like to get back in numbers to defend two banks, and we like to use the width a lot. We like to use the whole length of the pitch. Old Trafford's a massive pitch, and our philosophy is to have 2 wide players who could not only very aggressive in their attacking, but they like to drift in field, and also big on fullbacks who could actually get beyond our wingers. That's United.
So what happens
that's why it was good to see how.
Yeah. So what happens when you raise a whole academy to play that philosophy with Alex Ferguson being there for 26 years, but then Moyes comes in or a new manager comes in, and he wants to play a different way.
Because managers aren't in jobs for longer than 16 months.
But that's more to do with it. That's why the responsibility of the chairman is to you've got a club philosophy, you employ managers that can fit in with that philosophy, unless you're willing for them to change that philosophy.
Okay.
Same with Barca.
Just to play devil's advocate, I think does the objective of a club's academy come into it? Because you will get clubs' academies whose sole priority of a youth team is to maybe just sell on, give the kids an education, and at the end of the day, they're going to be moving on anyway.
Yeah.
So is coaching them into one formation necessarily good for that, for that objective? Because surely you want to make them as versatile as possible.
I think it's club specific. I think depending on the club and your goals, your aims. I think if you're a top club, you're not developing young players to sell them. Unless you're Chelsea.
What about for the player? What's best for the player?
Because I think that's the main objective of an academy, is to educate the player. Because let's face it, 99% of players who go for an academy are not going to make it at that club.
Yeah.
So
but you're saying this now, but let me give you an example of players that have come through for example, guys like okay, let's look at Barcelona. Thiago Alcantara came through playing one philosophy.
No, but with Barcelona, the reason why they play 4-3-3 is Thiago, he plays all across, he plays different roles. And the 4-3-3 is the formation they pick because they feel like that's the formation they can get.
Yeah, I said philosophy football is not specific to formation. It is the way you play football, how quickly you move the ball, how are you rigid in your formation, are you free-flowing? Obviously, Barca's philosophy is free-flowing, so we've seen, for example, guys like Mascherano have been playing centre-back. That's why, look at Thiago. Thiago could play the 4, the 8, the 10. Because
he's played all over the shop.
He's played all over the shop. He's played.
For example, though, for an academy like Arsenal, if they aren't teaching their kids, more direct football, and the majority of the kids at Arsenal are going to be playing League 1, League 2, maybe conference football, and even lower when they leave at Arsenal. So how is that educating them? Because
but you can't educate players with the intention that they're going to play for League 1. You educate them with the intention that they're going to play for your club.
Yeah,
okay, but is that necessarily helping the player though?
Well,
yeah, but you're Arsenal.
Sorry.
No. Listen, you're a football club. You're not a charity. You're not okay. I want this guy to best career. No, you're a football club. So the player takes the risk of signing for Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. That's part of the risk he's taking. He's got to learn to play at this standard. And if he may struggle because he's played this type of football. That's the risk of. That's part of the risk.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
I do see what a lot of you are saying. I do think there's an argument for both cases because you look at what Mourinho said at Real Madrid, and he had an argument with the B team coach because basically the B team coach was playing a different formation than he was playing in the first team, and he said because Mourinho was getting moaned at because he wasn't using a lot of the B team players and the Castilla players, and they wanted more Spanish players coming through, and they said, but why he wasn't using Hesse? He's like, Hesse plays a position that doesn't exist in my team.
Yeah.
And so it can actually hinder a player's progress from the B team to the first team if they're not playing in the same formation. However, I do think what is best for the player needs to be equipped and tactically flexible and being able to do as much as possible. I think the more you equip a player, the better. So I do think playing...
Shout out to Lamassa. Yes, I agree with that so much. I agree with that.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's everyone's opinion kind of bundled together.
Okay. I've just got one last question, I think. This one's from Liz Deguna. She wants to know, is there any English kids that aren't spoken about as much in today's game? So forget about the kids that are already involved in the England senior setup and maybe the under-21 setup. Is there any English kids worth talking about coming through that have caught your eye and maybe could be future England starlets? I don't know who wants to take that. Sait and Daniel, you probably watch the most youth football, or Io?
Well, I've heard of, there's two. I don't know if anyone's seen Ryan Gould.
From Dundee.
He's Scottish, though.
He's Scottish, yeah.
He's Scottish, but...
How old is he, though?
He's 16.
16?
Yeah.
She said English, right?
Yeah, she said English.
I don't know why I went off some mad tangent.
You just wanted to mention Ryan Gould. You just wanted to show how expert...
You know what? There was a winger for Aston Villa, but I forgot his name, and I know his surname begins with a G.
A G?
Oh,
yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
I watched that. I watched United. I watched United Villa the other day.
Wait, let me see if I can search
I know who you're talking about.
Let me see if I can search it.
But who's the forward that plays for Aston Villa in the next gen who was scoring all them goals?
Jack Grealish. Sorry,
Grealish,
that's
yeah,
Grealish.
that's it.
Yeah, Grealish, he's good. Grealish is good.
Yeah. I don't hear much about him though.
Yeah, I don't hear much about him at all, but he was quality.
Michael Keane from United. I'm not sure people know much about him, but centre back, he looks really good. I like the look of Michael Keane.
And he's just getting involved in the under-21 setup, isn't he?
Yeah, with England, he's starting to get involved.
Yeah.
Blackburn at the moment. I think, unfortunately for him, where Vidic and all these guys going, he won't get his shot on time. It would have been nice to bring him in as the fourth choice centre back with more experience around him, but I'm not sure. I feel that he might be one lost through the system at United. But
can I just say, Crowley is the future.
Crowley.
And Patrick Roberts.
Crowley and Patrick Roberts. Patrick Roberts at Fulham for anyone who might not
I wasn't that impressed with him yesterday, he didn't do much, but from other games, Izzy Brown.
Crowley?
Izzy Brown. Izzy Brown.
Izzy Brown for Chelsea.
Yes, for me, he looked like he had whatsoever. I'm not bad to you.
He had what, sorry? You thought he had what?
That's the first time I've seen.
What did you say, Io? Sorry, you got
Think
cut
about
out.
him.
He's a hothead.
Look, hear me?
No, Ayo said he has
no.
no tech.
Oh, no tech.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
for us,
one of those.
what I saw about him, he looks like he made it because of his size.
Right.
Nah.
Type players.
Chelsea actually let him go.
I thought he was at West Brom. When I saw him at West Brom,
He was at West Brom and then
When I
Chelsea
saw him,
signed
let him go.
because
he
he
was a
scored. I think he
standout
scored
at
against Arsenal under 21s last year.
he was a
Yeah.
standout at West Brom. So
Yeah, Chelsea let him go, but they brought him back because he started doing well at West Brom.
Why that's my Dan Crawley yesterday is that when the game started to go away from Arsenal, he started to go searching for the ball. Like he demanded, like, where's obviously I heard about Zali. That even when he got the ball, you could see he has ability about him, but he kind of shied away from the game. I didn't really see him calling about the ball, but Crawley, especially as a young lad, 16, he demanded the ball, and just the way his body movement, he could play 3-6. He always had the eye for pass. He looks the real deal. So at this level, anyway. So I think that's definitely one to look out for. He looks class.
Anyone else that could be mentioned?
What age? Because I don't like talking about.
I mean, any young prospects coming up. I mean,
what's that Tottenham midfielder?
Oh, Pritchard.
Not Pritchard.
Pritchard, no, but I'm saying another one.
Is he good?
Pritchard's
I've heard
amazing.
his name before.
Pritchard is amazing.
what the one?
Pritchard doesn't
Who's
make
Pritchard
it.
play for?
He plays for Spurs, but he's on loan. He's on loan at.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
But if he doesn't make it, I'm going to lose faith in English football. Honestly, like I think he's amazing.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, I think he's amazing. He's that good. I think Tottenham have got an amazing team. You know, when I watched the next gen, I was so shocked.
Yeah, Tottenham have got a good
Oh,
academy.
they smashed Barcelona last year.
Cause they've got a midfielder that I'm trying to remember, but I can't. Like
Tom Carroll, are you talking
Tom
about?
Carroll, that's it.
Tom Carroll, he's very
about
good.
20. Yeah, he's about 20.
He's older.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, I'm saying you can mention him. I mean, he doesn't get any plaudits because
He's really good. When I watched
actually
Next Gen, because he played in the Next Gen, didn't he?
Yeah.
Stand out as well.
Well, Chelsea got Patrick Bamford. I don't know if you know about him, but we got him.
Is that Preston?
He's at Derby now.
Oh, Derby,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. He's been smashing in goals at any level.
Will Hughes?
Will Hughes, yeah.
Will Hughes.
I can't stand that guy's hair, but he's good.
Oh, do you know what? I'm not sure he's going to make it because of his athleticism, you know. Because I think he's got all the technical ability in the world. I like his footballing brain, but he is so unathletic. It's unbelievable. Like, it's not even like...
I talk about his physical makeup or his engine.
But you know he's only 17, Leroy.
I know he's only 17, but...
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
He just looks like... You know, like, I don't think he'd actually step up to the Premier League. He's that unathletic. I'm not really sure. So, but in terms of technical ability, he's on point. And I do love the way he plays. But I've really got doubts about him athletically. And
It is sad that we've got a lot of these technical players that you think, they're gonna make it because obviously they need athleticism. It is sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
But then you look at Ozil,
reality.
and Ozil gets ripped. Yeah. So
Could I ask a question?
yeah.
You see, like, so Southampton have Luke Shaw, Klein, Chambers, Ward-Prowse, and so on. And it's probably inevitable that they're going to move on to bigger clubs. But in terms of their development, what stage would you say is best for them to... If, like, for example, an offer came in now, would you tell them to take it? So, like, Ward-Prowse to Chelsea or...
I think it depends on what they're promised by the buying club because...
Like, for example, I think Luke Shaw's probably in the best position because he will probably start in the clubs that are after him. For example, I know for United, I think he'll go straight into the first team. So that's good development.
Whereas Ward-Prowse might not.
Ward-Prowse got to Chelsea, that would be insanity because he's just not. It's insanity. It's insanity. If Obi Mikel ain't playing, you're not playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's so club specific. It's so club specific.
I think my opinion on it is that these players, what happens is you have to get leverage. No matter who you are, you have to get leverage until everybody rates you. Because you can be a really talented player, but no one will see you if you go to a big club and then you're on the bench. And then when you get played, everyone's like, oh my God, look how good you are. So I think it's good. For me, if I was a player, I'd stay at a club that is playing me until everybody rates me before I go. And everyone like completely believes in me before I go to a top club. Because otherwise they can just hide you.
So maybe given, like, Jack Rodwell should have waited a few years.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely for me. Jack
Cement your name so that when you can go in there, you can say, "Listen, I definitely deserve to play."
Because the thing is that with Jack Rodwell, he hadn't even established himself at Everton.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
No, he did.
I don't think he did.
No, he was not properly because obviously injuries had like really detrimented his career at Everton.
I still
honestly think City only bought him to make up their
English quota.
English quota, personally.
It's true. That's why
Well,
they do
that's
it.
what they did with Sinclair as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sinclair, I Steve Sinclair. I think that's responsible from Sinclair because he. I don't care what line it told him. He knows that his minutes were very, very limited. At least with Rodwell, CC's midfield has always been lacked anyway in terms of numbers. But do you know what I mean, it's very. But it's difficult for these players. It's very difficult.
It's money as well, obviously.
Yeah.
It's money.
Okay, guys.
Especially when you're people.
Let's move on to the Gazzetto Sport article that released their top 60 youngsters across the world. It is across the world. Yeah, it is across the world. If anyone wants to have a look, it's at www.gazzetta.it. I'll post a link with the podcast and on YouTube and stuff, so you can have a look. I mean, number 1 is Adnan Januzaj.
Bonkers.
Huh? Who said that?
That was me, man.
Who said that?
It was Leroy.
I mean, when you look at the people who...
Who should be ahead of him? Who should be ahead of him, Leroy?
Oh, boy. Oliver Torres.
Oliver Torres, number 54 on the list.
54, if I don't understand. Oh.
Do you know what's funny? People that rate Belgian talent in Belgium, don't forget he's in the Anderlecht Academy as well. He wasn't even Januzaj, he came from the Anderlecht Academy. He wasn't even the highest rated in the Anderlecht Academy.
Mm.
So, and you've got other Belgian talent here. You're looking at people like Bakali. You're looking at people like...
yeah, Bakali's on the list. Bakali's number 6.
And then
7.
Sterling is
six,
ahead of
six,
Bakali,
six.
by the way.
But Bakali should be number 1. But you look at people number 55, Tielemans. He's sick as well.
Yeah.
But what are we looking at? Are we looking at current ability or potential?
No, we're just talking about
I
current ability.
think
Because for me, if that's the case, look at what Sterling's doing.
No. But are you talking about popularity or ability? Because I don't know all of these players. I haven't watched all of these players.
No,
but,
me neither.
So to say that definitely Sterling should be number 1. Obviously, in the Premier League, we're watching Sterling in the Premier League, but it doesn't mean that he's got more ability than all of these players.
Well, let me just shout out a few names that the listeners would know and where they are. So we've got Gerard Deulofeu, he's number 4. Lucas Piazon's number 2. Marquinhos is number 3. We have Luke Shaw is number 8.
Yeah.
Nabry number 59, which is crazy
insane.
to me. Arsenal fans will probably know this. Kyle Ebesilio, he's number 32 on the list.
Bentaleb is 20.
Bentaleb is number 20.
Rabiot is 18.
Yeah, Oliver Torres, as we said, is number 54. James Ward-Prowse is number 56. Jeremy Boga is number 58.
He's slick. Very slick.
I'm trying to see. I suggest everyone to have a look at the list. It is, it's good to
Shall
look
we
at.
go?
Alan
shall we go
Hailovic is not even in top
He's
10.
he's there.
Alan, yeah, he's not in top 10 though. He's like 15th or 16th or something.
Who's that?
Alan Hailovic.
Hailovic, the one that signed the pre-contract with Barca. But shall we go around to the players that maybe aren't as known, and if you've seen them, say something about them?
Yeah, I just want to say that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain ain't in the list, which is absolutely ridiculous.
What's the
He's not a teenager though.
What?
What's the maximum age? Yeah.
What? How old is he? 20?
It looks like 94 is the oldest they've got here.
Yeah, it's 19 and under.
94, yeah.
That's 20. That's 20 years old.
Yeah, 94 is 20.
Yeah, so why is Chamberlain not there then?
Where would you put Chamberlain on that list?
Chamberlain must be on the list. He's ahead of Carl Ebesilio, I'll tell you that.
Isn't Chamberlain 93? Chamberlain's a 93 kid, I think.
Is he?
Yeah. He's the same
21.
age as Ravel.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 20.
93.
He's 20. Oh, but alright, his birthday's 1993.
He's 93.
So he maybe
94.
just missed the
That's the
cut
reason
then.
Okay. Where would you put Chamberlain on this list?
Where would I put it? I mean, he would definitely be. I don't know. I don't know where to put him on the list, but he should be on this list.
Okay. Compared to the guys you see, you pretty much have seen in each band. Okay, the number 1 to 5, 5 to 10. You've seen at least one of them. So where would you put him in that?
He's not in the top. Me personally, I think Chamberlain's better than Sterling, but that's just me, personally.
So you wouldn't put him ahead of the for you Marquinhos, Piazon.
I don't think he's better than Deulofeu, like in terms of natural technical ability and stuff.
Yeah, not trusting him. I personally would have had Deulofeu. I think I would have had him over Adnan.
I'm not a big fan of
Barca.
Deulofeu. Yeah,
Really,
I'm not a big fan. No.
I'm not sure about other Anna, but
I think he's the future, man.
Who did it for you?
Yeah, because I watched him for Spain. I watched him for Spain, the young Spain team, and for Barca B, the guy magic.
And I think Barca are clocking on to what happens if a player comes from the Premier League to the
gets that English.
league.
The hybrids.
Yeah.
As Liverpool. But I think Bakali should be higher.
Bakali's number one for me. Who's seen Mitrovic from Anderlecht?
I've seen him once.
One thing I like about him is, do you know that kind of Zlatan cockiness that some strikers have? He's got that. He's really cocky. He's a really arrogant finisher.
Yeah.
So I like that about him.
Yeah, I've seen Martial quite a few times for Monaco.
Where's he?
He's number 8.
Yeah, I can see him now.
Sorry, he's not number 8. He's like number.
I guess the guy
17.
I've watched the most is Ginter. I don't know if it's Ginter or Ginter.
Is he on here? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the list somewhere.
Number 48.
I haven't seen much of him. Tell us
I
about
think
him.
he can play centre back and defensive mid. Yeah. Plays for Freiburg.
Apparently he's going to Dortmund, no?
Well, he's been slightly linked with us and United, you know.
Yeah, I've seen the links to that, but I've seen.
Obviously, I watched him because Coquelin's on loan to Freiburg, so every time I've watched Freiburg, he's played. And one game I watched him centre mid, like as in defensive midfield. Next game I watched him centre back, and he's actually good on the ball. And he's got long passing, good long pass as well.
I think Rabiot should be high on the list as well. I think.
What do you think about Rabiot?
I like Rabiot a lot. You know,
Describe him.
I can't. I don't.
But I've heard about him. Apparently, he's really technical.
Like he's just almost somebody who's just everything's just clean.
Yeah.
Everything's just clean. So I really like him. I think Sterling's too high on the list. In my personal opinion.
Well, do you know what? With the order, who remembers? I don't know if there was a list that came out. I think like 2001ish, and then they rated all of the players and they had them all in the. And it was so Jermaine Pennant was like number 2 or something like that. So
but that was more to do with price tag, I think.
No, obviously that.
And the hat trick he scored.
Exactly, but here it plays into it as well. So there's no point in focusing on the ratings because obviously 10 years from now we're going to be like, rah, look, why was Piazza number 2?
No, but I'm saying this is the race, so I think it's good. Obviously, it's good. Obviously, these are done by experts, so I think it's good to challenge experts' things.
Could you guys pick out one that you think is definitely going to be, maybe not the ones in the top 20, maybe look at ones lower down and say, you know what, they are definitely going to be up there.
Jay Boga.
Sorry?
Boga from Chelsea.
Jerome Boga.
Boga.
Yeah, Boga's classy. I like Nathan.
Yeah, Daniel, you've been talking a lot about Nathan recently, the Brazilian team.
I think I always look for I go to South America for my attacking talent, and I like that these Brazilian attackers with that little bit extra, that Mahu Zahu. Nathan's got it, so he's sick. Tielemans from Anderlecht, he's a central midfielder. He's been playing out wide as well. Ravel Morrison. One thing I like about Ravel Morrison is he can cut through the middle. Tielemans.
Is he on the list?
Yeah, he's 55. Yuri Tielemans.
No, he's not Ravel.
I thought you said Ravel.
Oh, no. But he reminds me. That's why.
Reminds me.
They remind me. It's like similar.
Yeah. I have to say Nabry. Because I've watched him live like about 6. How many times have we been, Lewis? Quite a few times,
Yeah, quite a few, yeah.
And I've watched him against like bigger clubs. I proper think he has a future. I know, Leroy, what are your criticisms of Nabry again?
For me, I think he's got all the ability in the world, but he's so passive with it. For someone of his attributes, I would love to see him a bit more aggressive.
Okay.
Just because of his attributes and the things that he has.
I'm not sure about you guys, but from the guys I've seen in the higher the list, those are the guys who tend to, compared to some of the guys I've seen low the list, those, for example, Januzaj, Sterling, there for you. From times I've seen Bakali, obviously Shaw, these players, Bentaleb, Rabiot, these players are the ones who seem to be the most comfortable in their ability and they're most daring. Is that fair to say? I think that makes a big difference. For example, like Nabry, like if you were to compare technique with Sterling, like I don't think it's a contest. But with Raheem Sterling, you can see the confidence he's playing with, the confidence, his ability to try things. Whereas with Nabry, he's not as confident. I think that's my biggest
I don't know. I'll disagree. I don't know. I think Nabry has you know when you put a young player on the pitch and it's like they play with no fear.
Yeah.
I think he has that. I mean, there's games where we've been playing for 60 minutes. No one's shot outside the box, and as soon as Nabry comes on, he's taking players on and shooting, doing the things that the players that were on the pitch prior weren't doing. And I think he has got that. I think he has got that confidence.
I think the top of the list is a popularity thing. I think there's a lot of Premier League people that play in the Premier League now. There's a lot of people that everybody knows about as talent. I think it's just a popularity thing. I think that you'll see when a lot of these other players get to a point where they're on a platform, you'll see them rise.
But also,
popularity thing.
I reckon looking at like tomorrow's future, let's say the Ronaldos and the Messis. I know it's very, very early to say. I do reckon like it's very dangerous to say that Januzaj and Delafeu and Bakali are like in that same breath.
No,
I reckon in the group they're most likely to
I don't think. I just think Bakali's better than both of them by far.
I haven't seen enough of Bakali. I've seen the bits of Bakali and I've watched like videos and
he's the big talent here. Ocampos from Argentina. He was another one that was kind of touted as like, you know, that's that big talent. It was called the next Cristiano Ronaldo. He's really big, really strong. He's got a thunder shot. He went to Monaco. I don't think he has.
He went to Monaco for big money, didn't he?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. He was really hyped up.
I think there's one on there that quite a few people may not know yet, and that's the new Neymar already, which is Gabigol or Gabriel as they got him on.
If you were a manager and you caught wind that this article was out, would you have a word with your player that was on the list and be like, keep your head down? You see, like for example, when Ryan Giggs was young, Alex Ferguson banned him from interviews and told him, don't get ahead of yourself, work harder, you're just not going to... Like, all this plaudits that you're getting, it's not going to amount to nothing. Would you say anything to your player? Like, if you were Moyes, would you sit down Januzaj and be like, don't forget that list, you're number one?
I've noticed you don't really see Januzaj on TV.
Yeah.
I don't think until they're well media trained, because for example, in terms of like players with that hype around them, Micah Richards is one of the biggest. Loads of our young British players, they get the hype, they get the money, it goes to their heads. It goes to their heads, they fall off. It happened how many times? Shaw Rat Phillips, Aaron Lennon, Jermaine Defoe,
Jermaine Pennant,
Jermaine Genus,
all the Jermaines.
Were they going to become amazing if they sat them down and had this talk? I don't think most of these players had the talent in the first place.
No, but what amazing, but their fall was too much. They shouldn't have fallen off of that.
I'm
saying,
No. You got to remember, Jermaine Genus is at what, QPR? Where's he now?
Something like that. He's not, from what we were seeing from him doing that at Newcastle, etc. He wasn't a player that should play in the Championship.
I just don't think there was anything special for him.
No, yeah, but I'm not saying that's specifically special. But then again, you see so many times players have developed and kept on developing, or at least staying at the level they were. You can't come through.
I just think like Januzaj will see this list and he may think ... I am on. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I think Januzaj is confident. He's really even the listing even recognising.
Yeah, if you was a player, if you was a football player, and you're playing for Manchester United, you know, as a 17 or 18-year-old, is a list going to gas you up anymore? Not really. I don't think so.
It's the little bits. It's the combination of the list and what people are saying and your name, and then they'll tell you your T-shirt sales, and it's a combination, no?
From what my friends have told me, even at Trafford, when Januzaj gets a ball, the crowd will get to their feet. So I think that's doing more for him than any article in the universe.
I reckon that's a positive as well.
I think it's positive. It's like,
guys, let me just basically I found an article from 442 magazine where
that's the player.
Do you want to know who's top of the? Let me give you the top 10, okay? And you guys are gonna know all of these players, okay?
Yeah.
Except for one, maybe. Number 10 is Morad Megni. Do you remember him?
He's gangster.
Yeah, he's was a
really
sick player.
skillful.
He was linked with Arsenal for a while.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Anthony Letalek.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Piotr Trokowski.
I know him. He's good.
Yeah.
Polish.
Number 7 is Sinapongol.
Yeah.
This was while Letalek and Sinapongol were at Le Havre.
Yeah.
Then you got Rafael van der Vaart, number 6.
Yeah.
Number 5, Jermaine Pennant.
Oh wow.
That's the one.
Jesus.
Number 4, Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
That bangs.
Number 3, Leandro Bonfim.
The one from PSV.
Yeah.
Injury killed him off.
Okay. The next guy I was a big fan of was Andres Di Alessandro.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He still is. Yeah. He's still playing.
And anyone want to guess who number 1 was?
What year was it first?
Giroud.
Giroud.
What year?
It was 2001.
How old?
Cisse?
Wow, yeah, Djibril Cisse.
Djibril Cisse.
Djibril Cisse.
Cisse is a big talent. I was a big fan.
was a big
I'm
talent.
not gonna lie.
Djibril Cisse.
I never read
I
that.
thought Cisse was. I thought Cisse was the next Thierry Henry. I wanted him at Chelsea desperately. Chelsea got Drogba. I was pissed.
They had Darren Fletcher above Andres Iniesta.
Oh my word.
Oh,
Darren Fletcher number 13, Andres Iniesta number 20.
Magic.
Even ahead of Quaresma at 24.
Oh my gosh.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic number 35.
Wow.
Gareth Barry was ahead of Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
They've got who we got here? Jeremy Aliadier number 52.
That crap guy. Ali is not rubbish, you know.
I'm trying to find Christian. This would have been too early for
I know there's loads of different factors, yeah, but like
Kaká number 95.
Who?
Kaká number 95.
Yeah.
Kaká 95. Wow.
You have to understand though.
It was the
This
best
is
up a lot.
They're not comprehensive lists. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not comprehensive lists.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. That's what I'm saying. It's just a funny thing about it. Even at the NBA draft, like certain players get drafted fourth.
Yeah, fourth round. Like clubs don't even want them, sort of thing, and they turn out to be
get drafted
bangers.
second round, then they end up becoming just monsters.
Yeah.
So many first picks just become scrubs. Like
it's like I remember when I was younger and everyone was having the Ronaldo versus Quaresma debate.
Yeah.
But now look, what was the difference? Like, why did one go there and one went there?
Well, I think
attitude, isn't it?
attitude exactly. Speed was a major factor, and the fact that Ronaldo could play across the shop, and he used both of his feet. That's what we were saying back in the day. That's why we agreed that Cristiano Ronaldo would be the better player, and it did turn out that way.
But Quaresma didn't need to use both of his feet.
Well, because of the outside foot thing that he does.
No, because even if he didn't, because he's so gifted, he could always get onto his
He didn't pass players like Cristiano Ronaldo passed players. That's the problem. We like players that actually go past players. He didn't pass them.
Yeah. Quaresma was more of a guy that, if he was stuck in a tight situation, he could get out of it. But him actually pick up the ball and actually go and
players, exactly.
He wasn't. Yeah, that's why obviously Ronnie passed him. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like English players on the list, you had like Jermaine Pennant was number 1. John Welsh, was he English? John Welsh was number 14.
Yeah, it was the new Gerrard apparently.
Right. Okay. John. I don't remember him. John Welsh was number 14. They had him ahead of Andres Iniesta as well. Arjen Robben was number 27, by the way.
Yeah.
Then you got like Jermaine Defoe number 30, Gareth Barry number 31, Dean Ashton number 36. And that was while he was at Crewe. That was while he was at Crewe.
Can I ask one question? My last question, yeah. Do you think in, let's say, this is proper risky, innit? But do you reckon in like 5-6 years, we will be saying that, we'll be talking and be like, Jack Wilshere was one of them?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we're laughing that we rated him high.
As in, not laughing, because obviously he's already shown some stuff, but I mean, would he be a flop? But not a flop, but would he live up to
Not
expectations?
John Welsh. Or you think like more like a Latalik type?
No, he won't be an Latalik.
I think he'll live up to it.
What about someone like
If
Quaresma?
he's injury free, he's going to live up to it.
Welsh is a top
No,
guy.
not Quaresma. I think he'll be like Rooney. Top
Rooney's
player.
had a great career.
Yeah, but that's what I think. I think he'll be top
And
player.
how dependent is it on him staying at Arsenal?
I think a better manager get better. I think a different manager get more out of Wilshere than Wenger does.
Okay.
No, I think he should stay at Arsenal. And I think with Wenger it'll be cool.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
Look at Ramsey. Ramsey, people would have, if we was doing this about a year ago or a year and a half ago, people would say, he's whack. But obviously he came back under Wenger. There's no reason why Wilshere can't. He's got the talent.
You forget different players have different mentalities. Ramsey, from what I gather, Ramsey didn't feel like he was the shit from day one.
Oh wow, Ayo, do you remember Ramon Caliste?
Ramon Caliste.
He used to play for Manchester United.
I've never even heard of him. That's what Man United.
How do you spell his name?
Calliste.
I don't remember him.
He is on that list, number 80 something, granted, but I remember him at Man United. He was very highly rated at Man United.
That's what I would have been 12 years old then. I can't.
Is Daniel Nardiello on the list?
He is now playing semi-pro football.
Bloody hell.
What happens is a lot of the top of the list. It's just popular. Who's popular right then? It's just like this list right now. It's who's popular right then. It's not a comprehensive list at all.
Yeah, but don't underestimate the fact that a lot of players are popular because they are very good. For example, like Bacali,
Yeah, no, I'm not saying all of the players there. I'm just saying that the ranking of the list is ridiculous. There are going to be players there at the bottom that you're going to be like, bro, why wasn't he at the top like Zlatan before?
Someone asked about Daniel Nardiello. He's not on the list.
It's exposure. Obviously, like with a lot of the guys on the bottom list, they're playing at teams like Stanley Age or Reigns or Brazil. No one's really seeing them. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. No, the list is very, very interesting. I'll put the link as well with that, as well as with the Gazzetta one, and everyone can have a good chuckle and a good, get a bit of nostalgia about some of the names that are on this list. It's just amazing.
I think we should make our own list.
We should do a list, but that it requires time. I don't think I have the time to do a proper list. I'll just do a whack list. I can't put my name behind that.
I'll just definitely use Football Manager, bro.
with the filters.
Yeah, but I'm not saying maybe. Okay. What about a list for just established players? Because we all say, this players, but why don't we one time just do a list top 60 players in one?
Yeah, because the Times try to do something like that, don't they? The Times do their top.
The Times
garbage, man.
Oh man, it's so off.
I'm a Nigerian, but how Emenike is in the top 100 players of the world, I do not know.
Well, maybe we should do each our top 5 to watch. We'll do it under a certain year, like 90. What did they do? 94. So it's got to be under 94, and we'll just do our top 5, and we'll put our names to it,
and then see how it works out.
And
I think we're gonna definitely have to do something like that. I'll tell you what we'll do, just something for fun before we wrap up, because we're gonna have to leave it there in a bit, guys. What we'll do is each person is gonna say one youngster who is gonna blow in the Premier League next year. Yeah. And we're going to come back to this pod in a year's time and see who was right. Does anyone want to go first?
But that's really hard, because who's going to get... Who's getting the promotion to the first team? Like, we don't...
You got to guess, innit?
Yeah, we just got to guess. My player.
I'll say Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw's already blown, man.
He's already blown, man. What the fuck?
No, that is proper safe. That is.
Why is everyone shouting at me? I don't understand.
As a bookie, I would not even give you odds for that.
Bullshit trace.
Bro, I'll try to keep playing it safe, bro. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Hey, what? Can I say?
That's not saying who's got a good work.
Can I say Rav? Can I say Ravel?
Ravel Morrison, yeah? You reckon he's going to be...
You're a cheater. You stole mine.
No, I didn't. It's first come, first serve. I say Ravel Morrison. I put my name behind.
All right, so Daniel's got Ravel Morrison. So by that, I mean he has to be smacking it up in the Premier League next year.
No,
Yeah. I put my name behind that. If it's not, it's cool. He's gonna bang soon, though.
I know. I can just feel Leroy is thinking so hard.
I'm thinking who's gonna proper bang though, because it depends on who gets promoted.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I got one.
Go on.
Nick Powell.
Nick Powell. That's a good shout. That's a very good shout. He's gonna knock Arsenal out of the FA Cup on tomorrow.
Alright, listen, guys, if Arsenal don't win tomorrow, I'm hosting a podcast next week.
Hysterical.
All right, so Io's got Nick Powell. Leroy say
slash Ravel.
No, you can't have Ravel, man. You can't have Ravel.
Okay, slash Pereira for United. I'm going for your 2 United boys. Pereira.
Really?
Yeah, Pereira.
He's gonna get paid at United next season.
I don't know if Moyes might do another Januzaj. We don't know. Maybe.
But there is no slashes anyway. You got to pick one. There's no slashes.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go Nabry.
All right, Leroy said Nabry. Sait.
If you say Nabry, I'm allowed to say John Stones.
All right, John Stones. That's a good shot. Sait's got John Stones.
That's safe. He's already plays, man.
But then Nabry and Ravel Morrison, that's why I said it.
Yeah, but not like John Stones. He's gonna start playing now. Like, come on.
No, come on. That's not fair. You lot
I
can't
think that's
say
fair. I think Stones is fair.
Can I not say Ravel? Is he too big? Is he really blown, Ravel Morrison?
No, I don't think Ravel's blown. I don't think he's shown anything.
All right.
No, I'm saying like on the top level. No, that's fair to say.
I'm telling you, I really hope that.
Can I say James Ward-Prowse?
There.
No,
I don't think he's blown too tough anyway.
That is blown, bro. No, I'm not having that.
You might also say Yanas out of Bentaleb.
No, because James Ward-Prowse don't even start that much for Southampton.
Even when he plays these bangs, bro, you're cheating, man.
No, but I'm saying that next year James Ward-Prowse is going to be starting lineup for Southampton, and
That's
he's
safe, man.
he's going to get an England call up next year.
That's Luke Shaw. That's Luke Shaw safe, man.
What James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, that's mad safe.
That's too safe.
But you guys have taken all the good options, so.
Well, you're the host, man. You should know, man. Come on.
Exactly.
Alright, let me go. Let me go. I'm gonna say Hector Bellerin is gonna
That's
risky.
he's gonna do very well at Arsenal next season.
He's centre back.
No, right back.
Right back.
Oh yeah, he probably have a chance actually. Because obviously
He could blow though. If he gets a chance.
If he gets a chance, I'm gonna say
And then Barcelona
it's gonna be
will
risky.
fight
I don't expect to win this, but if I do, you know I'm the man.
And then just so we know, because I know people will try it. Yeah, how do we judge the winner? Is it
Who scored? Who scored ratings?
or go to score card, whatever that.
Yeah, go to scorecard.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to come to we'll put it to a vote or something. We'll put it to a poll to the listeners, and they can.
No, you can't because you got all your Arsenal guys, and even if Bellerin plays 10 minutes well against Stoke, you're like, oh my god, they're the best right back in the world.
That's true. That's true. We'll work it out anyway.
Nah, it'll be the jobless Liverpool fans that vote, man. As in everything, you know.
Jobless Liverpool fans.
Nah, you know Sky. Everything on Sky, Liverpool win on polls, bro. Because they're all jobless, bro. No one wants Liverpool. That's like everything.
And when they sign a player, even though like everyone's at work, bare Liverpool fans come out to the garden. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, what?
They're there from 10 a.m. on transfer deadline day, you know.
Liverpool are the only team that I've seen who could be favourites for the Champions League on Champions League's poll and not be in it, bro. If you got a stats for who's going to the Champions League, the Final Four, you see Liverpool 50%.
We don't have a Liverpool representative here to defend them.
Guys, I'll tell you what, this has been a fantastic pod, I have to admit. It's been one of our best, I think. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all your listeners' questions. It's been, we got through so much. I hope we've got through everyone's. I'm pretty sure I have, going through down through the Twitter. So yeah, guys, we'll leave it there. Make sure to get involved in the discussion with the hashtag Touchline Fracas. We'll be on Mixcloud, YouTube, so subscribe on iTunes. And yeah, thank you for joining us and have a good weekend.
Come on, Arsenal for tomorrow.
Way.